Okay, what are the different ways of developing a project? That is called as SDLC methodologies. In how many ways you can develop a project? Let's say you are given a mathematical problem. Now there are different ways to solve a problem. Now, which is the best one, which is the most suitable one, or which is the most real-time one, that we need to use in the real-time scenarios. So first, let us understand what are the different ways to develop a project. The first one is called as waterfall model, which is the oldest model. Nowadays, nobody is using this. And the next one is called as iterative model. And the next one is V model, and then spiral model, agile model, and the last one is a Scrum. Scrum is actually not a model, it's a Scrum meetings, we'll say, but we can keep it under SDLC methodologies. These are the different models that are available. So do I need to learn all of these models? No, it's not required. So what we are going to learn is, we are going to look into the very oldest model and the very latest model. Latest model is this one. Agile model is the latest one, oldest model is waterfall model. So we will see what is waterfall model, how the projects were developed using waterfall model, what are the problems with waterfall model, and how the whatever problems that are available in the waterfall model, how we have overcome in the agile model, and why agile model is being used in the real-time scenarios. As of now, agile model is the latest one. Let's understand these things. So first, let's look into the waterfall model. But here, one thing which you need to remember is DevOps is not a model, or DevOps is not a methodology. DevOps is a process. If anybody tells you, or if anybody asks you what is DevOps, don't tell that I am learning DevOps tools. You should not tell that. Or don't tell the DevOps methodology I am learning. No. DevOps is a process. If you want to develop a software project, what is the process? What tools you are using in that process? So DevOps is a process, or it is a set of tools. Okay, DevOps is a process, or it is a set of tools to develop a software project, or to develop and deploy a software project. Right. So now let's look into the first one, which is called as waterfall model. As the name itself is telling, waterfall. We all know how waterfall will look like. Waterfall will always fall from top to bottom. Water will flow from top of the hill to bottom of the hill. Similarly, for the project also, you are going to start the project and slowly you will come down. That's why it's called as waterfall model. So let me show it in this way. So these are the different phases which we have just seen. The names might be different, but they are almost same. Now let's say the first phase is analysis, then is design, implementation, testing, maintenance. Okay, let's consider these phases. Now let's say in the analysis, what you are going to do? You are going to do the analysis. That means you are going to gather the requirements. You are going to gather the manpower. You will design how many DevOps engineers you need, how many developers you need, how many testing team people you need. All of those things will be decided in this stage. And you are also going to gather the requirements of the client as well. In this phase only, you are going to gather the requirements. Once this phase is completed, then you are going to go to the next stage, which is a design stage. Who will work in the design stage? UI and UX engineers will work. Okay, UI and UX engineers will work. What they will do? They will design the user interface of the application. How your application should look like, how colorful it should look like. That's all those things will be designed here. Let's say for analysis you took 1 month. Okay, for analysis you took 1 month, and then for design you took 1 month. And then the next stage is implementation. Implementation is writing the code. Developers will work here. Now developers are working here. So now can you tell me on what basis the design and developers coding is being written? On what basis the design and coding is being written? Based on whose conditions? Based on the client requirements. Whatever client said here, accordingly we will design the user interface, accordingly we will write the code. Everything we will do with respect to the client only. Ultimately, we have to satisfy the client. Now, let's say in the 3rd month, you are writing the code. I mean, development team people will start writing the code. And let's say development team has taken 2 months to write the code. Okay, 2 months to write the code. They're about to finish their code writing part. And now, one day client came to the company. Okay, one day client came to the company. Now, what client said? Client said that, no, don't do this one. I got a new idea yesterday. I want you to implement that new idea in my project also. Client will tell that. Client will also tell that don't bother about amount, I'll give the price. I mean, whatever charge that you are going to do, I'll give the amount. Now what you have to do? Can you proceed to the next step here? No. Why? Because client came with a new requirement. Since client came with a new requirement, you need to start from the beginning again. Why? Because here there is a new requirement. According to the new requirement of the client, you have to gather the analysis, you have to do the requirements, everything you have to do it. And then again you have to do the redesign. User interface you have to redesign because client came with a new requirement. Again you have to rewrite the code. Again you have to rewrite the code. Now let's say you have written the code, everything is done. Okay, you have taken some 6 months to implement the latest thing, whatever the client said, or latest requirement, whatever client said, you have taken 6 months to do that, total 6 months. Now the code is in the testing phase. When you are in the testing phase, one more day, client again came to the company. Okay, client again came into the company and he said that, don't do this one, I need one more extra feature in my application so that I can attract more users. The client will tell that. Again, what you have to do? Again, you have to go back to the first stage. You have to complete each and every stage step by step. And then you have to finish the complete project. Now you tell me, do you really adopt waterfall model in your working environment? Tomorrow you are a DevOps engineer. Now, do you suggest that I will use waterfall model to develop the project? Will you do that? No. What is the problem? The problem is, whenever client comes with a new requirement, you have to restart the entire project. Okay, you have to restart the entire project. So what is happening here? It is taking too much of time. Too much of efforts are being wasted there. So that is why waterfall model is the least used methodology in the real-time scenarios. It is a step-by-step process. You cannot jump from here to here directly. From this step, you have to jump this step. From here to here. From analysis, you cannot directly jump to the testing phase. If you jump, your legs will be broken. Similarly, your project will get disturbed. Okay, that is why it's a step-by-step process. And you can also call it as linear methodology. Okay, it is a linear methodology. What does it mean by linear methodology? Linear methodology means in a straight line. You have to go only front. You cannot come backward. If you want to come backward, again you have to start from the start point, which is a difficult process and time-consuming process. So what are the problems with this one? It's the oldest model. Nobody uses this one. And here the requirements are fixed. What does it mean by requirements? Whatever client tells in the first stage, before you come to this stage, you will have a discussion with the clients. Whatever client tells the requirements at that point, they are fixed. You cannot ask, client cannot come and change the requirements. But in real time, do you think the requirements are fixed? No. Let's say you want to develop your own application. For 1 month, you felt that, okay, this will work good. In the next month, you felt like, okay, I'll add this extra feature to my application. So in real time, requirements are never fixed. Throughout the life cycle of the project, requirements will keep on getting updated. That is why, let's say you are using Instagram. You all must be using Instagram. Now, when you are using Instagram, let's say you have started using Instagram some 5-6 years back. Whatever the user interface that you are seeing 5-6 years back, is it the same user interface that you are seeing today? Is it the same features that you are seeing today? No. That means Instagram has to get update itself. Okay, Instagram has to get updated itself. That is when the new users will get attracted. The old users will be retained. Now, what is the reason why Facebook, Orkut? There was one thing called Orkut. I don't know how many of you know about this one. Orkut was there. Why Orkut and Facebook has got outdated? Facebook is about to get outdated. What is the reason? Because they were unable to update themselves. And new services or new applications are coming and they are overtaking it. They are giving better features. That is why it is very important that requirements should not be fixed in a project, any project. But in waterfall model, requirements are fixed. But if the requirements are fixed, what is the problem? The problem is the involvement of client is very less. Why? Because client will be involved in the first stage, okay, and also in the last stage. He cannot come and tell that I got a new idea, implement this new idea. If client involvement is lesser, the application will be good, No. Obviously, the application will be as it is. It won't get updated. Application won't get updated. And one last thing about this one is client can see the output of the project after the deployment only. Okay, client can see the end product only after the completion of entire process. Now, once the entire deployment is done, client may get satisfied, may not get satisfied. If client is getting satisfied, that is fine. If the client is not getting satisfied, again, what you have to do? Client will tell that I want all these changes in my application. Again, you have to start from the beginning. So here there is a high risk of project failure. Why? Because if the client approves, that's fine. If the client doesn't approve, what do you call the project? It's a failure project. Okay, it's a failure project. Okay, so these are the different disadvantages of waterfall model, and it is not suitable for large scale projects. Let's say Netflix is there. Netflix is a large scale project, globally approved project. Anybody across the globe is using Netflix. So for large scale projects, you cannot adopt the waterfall model. Okay,